If you were alive in the 90s, then you probably remember the rise of Internet Explorer. It was the first real web browser after Netscape, and it dominated our online world. Well, we can now welcome Internet Explorer to the 27 Club. It seems everyone who's ever truly left something behind to remember has passed at the age of 27. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, and now Internet Explorer has celebrated its 27th birthday in an internet burial. Granted, you can still use Explorer, but Microsoft has announced that there will be no more security updates for our old blue friend. Now, why is this so important? Do a lot of us really care that Internet Explorer is going away? I know some do, but let's be honest. You likely used Explorer to download a different browser and then never used it again. But this is not the case for a lot of different organizations out there, which is why this might be very important for you. You see, there are myriads of companies out there who used Internet Explorer's web-based apps to manage their companies in some way. For example, some automotive repair companies out there use a tool called automotive flashing, which is an Explorer-dependent program to run vehicle diagnostics. There's also specific equipment used in the medical field that was built around Explorer. They have machines like MRIs, for example, that run through some web-based programs, and they use Explorer because they never needed to be updated. They never had to pay these developers hundreds of thousands of dollars to create these programs. They just launched the page, fire up the machine, and now they're going to need a replacement. Not only that, but every military PC runs Explorer, as do most government PCs. So Microsoft may have just brought our entire government down. Just kidding. Wouldn't that be great though? There are some government mapping sites that require Internet Explorer in order to even use them, and without it, you can't use these government maps, which means that if there are any entrepreneurs out there who want to capitalize on this event, it might be a good idea to come up with a secure system that can be used in Chrome or Edge or even Opera and sell it to these companies that are losing their old tried and true browser. Now, even though Explorer is recently unsupported, there is still going to be an Internet Explorer compatibility mode in Microsoft Edge for a while, which means that if you are using programs or you're on a site that requires Explorer, you can still use Edge for the time being to access those pages and programs, but nobody knows how long that feature is going to remain in place. Microsoft might be trying to lure everybody over to Edge, and this could work if someone else doesn't step up and find a replacement themselves that might entice these companies. You may ask, how many companies are even using Explorer? And that's a good question. Only 0.3% of businesses use Explorer web-based apps to run their services. But this is still a large pool that needs help. So if you're a programmer, I recommend you reach out to local doctor's offices, government facilities, and even local businesses and see if they need a replacement, because this could be very lucrative for you. Now, I do have some fun facts about Internet Explorer for those out there who are sad to see it go. We can take a little bit of time now to bow our heads in remembrance and laugh together as we send this historic browser off to the great beyond. The first thing I didn't know was that Internet Explorer has an anime mascot. There's actually a pretty epic video that Microsoft made in 2013 debuting the character, and I hate to admit how badass she is. I kind of wish there was a whole show about this girl, and I'll leave that video in the description. Microsoft was actually very self-aware when it came to this little blue browser. I have another video for you that they made called The Browser You Love to Hate. This was made by the Internet Explorer YouTube channel back in 2012. It's pretty funny initially, but it turns pretty cringy and out of touch very quickly. Another interesting fact that I didn't know was Internet Explorer is why web browsers are free. Back in the day, if you wanted to go online, you had to buy a web package that had a browser on the disk or as part of the product. Once Microsoft started bundling Explorer into Windows, other browsers had to get competitive. Without this, browsers might be something you would have had to pay for. Due to IE coming stock on Windows, Microsoft was actually sued by the United States government for maintaining an unlawful monopoly in the PC market. Microsoft was found guilty and would have had to split the company in half, one for software and then the other for developing operating systems. But the order was overturned and Microsoft got to keep both under the same umbrella. Another fun fact was an Easter egg in Explorer 4. If you typed about:"Mozilla" into the search bar, the infamous blue screen of death would appear on your screen, which was a pretty funny kick to the new Firefox browser that had just come out. Here's one I didn't expect. There's a law in South Korea that requires people to use Internet Explorer for e-commerce. This is because the law requires e-commerce to make use of ActiveX plugins, which only Internet Explorer can support. So the news that Microsoft is letting it go might throw their system on its head as well. Here's a funny one. An Australian retailer by the name of Kogan implemented a tax on customers who used the Internet Explorer browser. Customers buying from their site using IE7 would have to pay an extra 6.8 surcharge. They said that this tax was to make up for the extra time and resources that their IT team used just to properly display their site on the outdated browser. Internet Explorer made its debut August 16, 1995. The final version was released in October 2013, and Microsoft has ended its updates June 15, 2022. If I have a favorite moment with this browser, it has to be when I downloaded Chrome for the first time on my brand new, freshly built PC, and Explorer said in all caps, "You know Explorer's faster, right?" It was begging me to stop. We have a lot to thank Explorer for, even though many of us found it as a nuisance, outdated bloatware. It's a symbol of history, and to be thankful for its many years of service is appropriate. Before we go, I have 6 of the best Internet Explorer jokes, so let's send our little blue friend off with a bang. If Internet Explorer were a cybercriminal, it would hack its own account and forget the password. An Internet Explorer user was recently mugged by a snail, a turtle, and a sloth. When reporters asked him if he could describe the muggers, he responded, "Not very well. It all happened so fast." A man's mind is like Internet Explorer. There are at least 9 tabs open, 3 of them are frozen, and you have no clue where the music is coming from. What do Dora the Explorer and Internet Explorer have in common? They both take 20 minutes to perform a simple task. How to hide important files from people without making hidden folders. Step 1. Go to your desktop and make a new folder named Internet Explorer. Step 2. Change the folder's icon to Internet Explorer. Step 3. Keep it in your favorite corner of the desktop. Nobody will ever find your darkest secrets. And the last one. If internet browsers were girlfriends, Firefox is like that freaky chick that lets you do anything in bed, but has a lot of baggage that weighs you down. Often you're caught considering those pros and cons when evaluating staying with her. Chrome, on the other hand, is the chick that's half your age. She's full of young, spunky attitude. She's just as freaky as Firefox, but also has just as much baggage, only she hides that fact better. Opera is a really great gal. She's a certified MILF, but very set in her ways. You do things her way or no way. Internet Explorer's like that woman pushing 40 who was totally a hot babe back in the day, but she can't accept her aging looks with grace. She still tries to stay relevant with the younger generation, out all night, asleep all day, when it might be better to just kick back a little instead. Edge is Internet Explorer's super hot and sexy daughter, reminiscent of her mom back in the day, but her beauty is generic and superficial. There's not much depth in her character. Thank you all so much for joining me and sending off our little blue friend. He might be missed, maybe, but not by me. Bye, guys.